Welcome. This is the class to help us shift from striving to shining. Wherever you are, root down, get connected to the earth. Come into a sweet awareness of your breath. Begin to deepen your breath. I offer you this today from 1 John. See what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we should be called the children of God, and so we are. See what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we should be called the children of God, and so we are. This is our identity, guys. We are kids, children of God. This class is to help us shift from striving to shining, to be like kids. Children don't strive, they shine. So this is a playful sequence, and it will be bringing our attention to the space in our upper chest just behind the heart. This is the place where purity is thought to reside. We're going to be doing chest openers to let us tap into this heart space and open us up to that childlikeness within us, where compassion and kind-heartedness and acceptance and courage reside. Let us experience our identity as kids, and I pray that this helps us, especially those of us who fall towards the side of being perfectionists or overambitious or overbusy. I pray this helps us to shift from striving to simply shining and enjoying ourselves, enjoying the present moment, breathing freely, and being open to maybe a different agenda than the one we have. Maybe God would like to shift our attention towards something else that He has for us, something bigger, something so much more spacious and beautiful. So I pray that we have eyes to see and ears to hear and a heart that would understand what that may be. Let's begin. Come to standing at the top of your mat. We're going to do 3 rounds of sun salutation, breathing deeply, slightly elongating the exhale until the breath is even and rich and steady, and we can feel the sound of the ocean rise within us. We breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, creating that sweet resistance at the back of our throat, that comfort, the presence. Let's breathe. Inhale. Arms rise over your head. Exhale. Dive forward, forward fold. Inhale. Lift halfway, reaching through the crown, collarbones opening. Exhale. Fold deeply, bending your knees as much as you'd like, reaching your sits bones to the ceiling. Inhale, step back into plank. Come onto your knees. Be gentle with yourself. Meet yourself wherever you're at today. Exhale, chaturanga, modified on your knees. Belly button drawing into your spine, elbows bending straight back, squeezing the arms towards the rib cage. Lower all the way to the earth. Take a moment here and then inhale, come into a gentle cobra. Pressing all 10 toes into the mat, the tops of your feet into the mat. Letting your thighs still rest on the earth. Lifting up from the heart, the back of the heart. And exhale, rest on the earth. Inhale, come into gentle cobra again. Opening up a little further. Maybe squeezing the shoulder blades a little deeper behind you. Then exhale, rest your opposite cheek on the mat. Inhale, this time come into upward dog. So now our feet and our toes are still pressing firmly into the mat, and this time our kneecaps and our thighs lift off the floor. Our hips lift off the floor, our arms, the muscles of our arms wrap around the bone. Our shoulder blades engage deeply to open the chest so that our heart is pressing through, and our pubic bone is pressing down strongly, tucking the tail, taking all the pressure off the lower back. And now exhale. You can come through tabletop or right into downward dog. In downward dog, let's breathe here. 3 breaths. Next inhale, walk your way to the top of your mat and meet us in mountain pose. Exhale, hands at heart center. Inhale, straight back up, reaching to the heavens. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, press back into chaturanga. Come to plank, and then lower to your knees. Really consciously lowering to the earth with your elbows straight back behind you. Now inhale, press up to upward dog. Open the chest, press the pubic bone forward. Release all the tension in the lower back. Exhale, downward dog. 3 breaths here. Inhale. Walk to the top of your mat. And come rise all the way up in mountain. Exhale, hands in prayer. Inhale, last time through, Surya Namaskar, sun salutation. Reach your hands up to the heavens. Exhale, dive beautifully forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your legs back into plank and chaturanga. Come onto your knees, really supporting yourself where you need to be supported, letting your core grow in its strength over time. Elbows go straight back. We hover towards the earth. And then we inhale, come up into upward dog, opening the chest. Smiling with the collarbones, letting the shoulders drop away from the ears. Exhale, press back, downward dog. In downward dog here, really internally rotate your inner thighs to broaden your sits bones. Exhale and lift your sits bones back. Let your belly be drawn backwards softly. Breathe in this pose. Let your heart melt towards the earth as your heels melt into your mat. With an inhale, step your right foot between your hands. Drop your left knee to the mat and raise your arms alongside your ears. This is low lunge here. We're putting a lot of trust in our legs to hold our weight. We can feel the stretch through our hips. See that your right knee is aligned over its heel and that your pelvis is neutral. Take 3 deep breaths here. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat and turn your right foot out. Bend your left knee and reach around so your right hand reaches back to your left foot. You can squeeze it towards your bum here. Turn your chest and open gently into this small little twist. Stay here for 3 breaths. This is lizard pose with a slight twist. Your next breath, release your left foot. Turn your right foot in and come onto your left toes. Straighten both legs and spin your left heel down. Extended triangle pose. Right hand rests on your mat, or if you have a block, you can place it on your block or rest it on your shin for a little more lift to create a little more space in your side body. Left hand reaches up, chest spins open. Take 3 breaths here. Remember that you are a child of God. That is your identity. We're here to shine, not strive. To be like children who simply shine, not because they feel like they need to or they must, but just because that's who they are. Your next breath, come back into downward dog. Let downward dog be your reset, or if you'd like to take a child's pose here, do so. And your next breath, step your left foot between your hands and drop your right knee to the mat. Raise your hands up alongside your ears. Reach, grow long through the side body. See that your left knee is aligned over its heel. Keep your pelvis neutral. This may require tucking your pelvis just a tad. If you feel any tightness in your lower back, see if you can release that tightness by pressing your pubic bone forward. And drawing your belly button in. Take 3 breaths. Exhale, bring your hands back to your mat. Now turn your left foot out, bring your right knee, bend your right knee, and reach your left hand back to grab your right toes, your right foot, squeeze it towards your seat. Breathe here, gently turning, opening your chest and your back. Stay here with your breath, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. One more inhale. Now release your left foot. Release your right foot. Turn your left foot in. Come onto your right toes. Straighten both legs and spin your right heel down. The left hand rests on the mat. The right hand reaches up, chest spinning open. Extended triangle pose. Utthita Trikonasana. Let your side body be long and spacious. Stack your lungs one on top of the other. Gaze up at your fingertips. Breathe. Two more breaths here. Next breath, come to standing. Come to standing at the top of your mat and step your left foot back into a deep, high lunge. Your right knee over your right heel. Raise your arms tall, lengthening through your side body. The sides of your waist grow tall. Open your chest. Draw your tailbone underneath you, pressing the pubic bone gently forward. Keep your back leg engaged. Energy out the heel. And breathe. Keeping your back leg very strong and straight and your hips square to the front of your mat. Interlace your fingers behind you. Aim to open up your chest as much as possible as you press your clasped hands back and up away from the tailbone. And now inhale and shift your weight onto your right leg. We're coming into warrior pose, warrior 3 pose. So raise your left leg to hip height, left toes facing down, left knees, left toes facing down. We're in warrior 3, belly button drawing into the back body, ribs drawing into the back body. Breathe here for 3 breaths. Arms can stay clasped, or you can bring them into cactus arms out at your side, or on either side of your ears, in front of you. On your exhale, release your hands down to the mat, bend your knees, and place the left knee outside your right heel to sit. Bring your left elbow outside the right knee and take 5 breaths. See what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we should be called children of God. And so we are. And so we are. It's as simple as that if we let it. Come back to standing now. At the top of your mat, just humbly and as simply as you can move from seated to standing. And step back with your right leg into a lunge. Your left knee over your right heel this time. Raise your arms alongside your ears with a deep breath in. Lengthen the sides of your waist, opening your heart. Dropping your tailbone down towards the center of the earth. Keeping your back leg strong and engaged, energy out the heel. Breathe here. Keeping that back leg very strong and supporting you, nice and straight with your hips aligned, squaring to the front of your mat. Interlace your fingers again behind you, opening up your chest as much as possible as you press your clasped hands back and up away from your tailbone. Take a deep breath. Prepare for Warrior 3. Step your foot in and then inhale, shift your weight onto your left leg, straighten your right knee, raising your left leg, your right leg to hip height, right toes facing down. Breathe here in Warrior 3 pose. Feel strong. Keep your arms interlaced behind you or change it up. Bring your arms into cactus arms. Bring your arms down by your side or reach your arms, extend them in front of you, increasing the lever of the pose, and this obviously increases the challenge of the pose, so be sure to really engage your core here. Draw your belly button into your spine, knit your ribs in, keeping steady the inhale and the exhale. Next exhale, release your hands to the mat, bend your knees, and place the right knee outside your left heel to sit. Bring your right elbow outside the left knee. Gentle twist in the sitting posture. Take 5 breaths. Remember, with every breath, to shift from striving into the posture, shift from striving in your life to simply being and shining as children are. They do not strive, they shine. And remember, that's who we are created to be, like children. We are children of God. Come out of this posture and come into reclined hero's pose. So spread your calves away, make room for your sits bones to sit, and then work your way. You can sit right here in hero's pose, or if you like to come all the way down to reclined hero's pose. If you have a bolster or a blanket, you can place it lengthwise behind you and sit down between your heels, reclining onto your forearms and then onto the bolster. If you don't have a pillow or a blanket or a bolster, then just be gentle, coming down on your forearms, going down as far as you can go while keeping your knees on the mat. If you're on the floor, extend your arms overhead and take 5 deep breaths here. Last breath. As come out of the pose as intentionally and gracefully and thoughtfully and gently as you came into it, and come to kneeling on your mat. Kneel with your shins hip distance apart. We're going to prepare for camel pose. Place your hands on your hips, Engage your legs, engage the quadriceps and the glutes. Bring your tailbone underneath you. With an inhale, lift your ribs, creating space in between them. Arch up and back and reach for your ankles, your feet. For a modified camel's pose, just keep your hands right at your hips and just breathe here. If you're in full camel's pose, keep breathing. Don't lose your breath. Breathe as deeply as you can, even as it grows in its challenge. The next inhale, work your way out of the pose, and then come to lying on your back. You can roll out your back for a moment. That feels so good. Just bring your knees to your chest and just rock side to side. For those of you who have upward bow pose as part of your practice, we're going to do one round of that. If you're still working on it with your teacher, then you're more than welcome to take bridge pose or just stay with your knees to your chest and just enjoy this little break. If you're coming into bow pose, lie on your back with your feet on the mat and hands by your head. Remember to press down firmly to lift into the back bend. Really press down with the bottoms of your feet. Internally rotate your upper thighs. Keep your tailbone long. Breathe here. Arms pressing into the mat, feeling the weight supported between your hands and your feet. Really press through the heels. The majority of the weight should be in the legs. Balance. Breathe. One more breath. And now come down on your back, knees to chest pose. Oh, that feels so good. Take your hands to your knees and squeeze them into your chest, neutralizing the spine. Relax the full length of the spine, even as you continue to breathe. You can rock side to side, roll side to side, and just be here, breathing. Those are big postures, camel pose and upward bow pose. So take as much time as you need to recenter, recalibrate, find your breath. When you're ready, come to bound ankle pose, bringing your feet together, opening your knees, pressing your outer thighs down. Take your hands behind you. Press your sits bones into the earth. Open up the chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. Smile with the collarbones. Create a lot of space in that chest area. The space that holds purity, compassion, kindness, courage, acceptance. With your inhale, your chin lifts slightly, and your exhale, it drops back down to parallel. Following the rhythm, the movement of your breath, noticing the subtle changes and shifts that happen with the wave of the breath. In your next inhale, come to Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend, extending the legs forward, flexing your feet. You can wrap your first two fingers, your peace fingers, around the big toes. Engage to the knees. Engage so that the muscles lift away from the knees so strongly that your heels might even lift off the floor. Lifting the heart with the inhale. Exhale, lengthen your spine. Keep the upper chest open and breathe right here. One more breath here. Really opening and lengthening the spine. And now exhale, go ahead and round and bow and drape over your legs. Come into tabletop position. This is the easiest way I know how to get into cow face pose, Gomukhasana. So if you have another way, go ahead and find yourself in Gomukhasana. If you're in tabletop position, bring your right knee behind your left knee, and then come to sitting so that your feet are still close to your hips. This is an awkward pose. It's a deep stretch for the hips. So make sure you hold on to your breath here and keep it moving. Inhaling, exhaling. Bring your awareness to the breath. Hold the big toes with your first peace fingers like we did in seated forward bend. Root down with your sits bones. And breathe. 3 breaths on this side. Our knees are stacked here. We're allowing the legs to slowly relax down, even in this awkward position. One more breath. Come out of it on this side. You can just switch sides however you like, or come back into tabletop briefly and bring the other knee in front. Stacking the knees. Come to sitting on the sits bones. Feet close to the hips. Holding the big toe with your peace fingers. Rooting down at the sits bones. Growing tall through the spine. Breathing 3 more breaths here. And release. Come out of it. Come all the way down to the floor in Savasana. Shake out your legs. You can pause for a moment in effortless pose with your knees bent, feet out wide, letting your knees kind of hold each other up, taking all the weight and pressure out of the hips. Windshield wiper the legs. Now lift your legs up, interlace your peace fingers around your big toes. Come into happy baby, just one happy baby. Shifting side to side, really enjoying this posture. See what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we should be called the children of God, and so we are. Here we are in happy baby, happily shining, not striving. There's no striving in happy baby, it just is. It's just an enjoyable posture. Oh, we can feel the length of the spine. If you notice that your sacrum has lifted up off the floor, gently bring it back to the floor. Really let the spine grow long here. In breath, exhale, breath. Inhale. Now is time for Savasana. Come all the way down to Savasana, all the way down to letting go, laying flat on your mat. Toes just fall away from you. Arms out, 45 degrees away from the body, palms upward. In complete openness, complete surrender. Just find the resting pose where you can truly just be, letting more of you go breath by breath. Smiling, being, accepting who you are, accepting the purity of your heart, the heart that would like to play and be alive and be seen, not for what it does, not for its performance, but just for who it is, who we are. Can you give yourself the joy of just being here, the joy of accepting yourself exactly who you are? imagining, using your imagination to receive the truth that you are a child of God. And I know that's hard for many of us to receive. So that's why I say use your holy imagination. We'll get there. Keep that vision of us and happy baby, of us as kids, smiling freely, breathing freely, dancing freely, running freely. Keep that vision and know that's what we're heading back to in our spirit. So free and alive, able to shine, because that's just who we are. You're welcome to stay here for as long as you like, just really receiving the benefits of your practice today. Or come onto your right side and then meet me in a simple sitting posture. Your well-being is so worth paying attention to. Thank you for spending this time, dedicating this time to lightening up, to releasing a little more of the heaviness, of the pressure of the lie that tells you have to keep on performing in order to be acceptable. Thank you for honoring me with your presence over the internet. This is great that we can practice together. I am praying for you as I'm praying for myself that somehow we all can learn what it really means to just be who we are as children of God. See what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we should be called the children of God. And so we are. So be it. Amen. Thank you. Grace and peace to you.